Good morning creators, and welcome to another Uefn tutorial. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to use post-process volumes to create filters for your maps. So you'll see I have my post-process volume open right now, and it creates a CCTV kind of footage. If I open it up, you'll see I have all these settings already set, but just so I can show you from scratch, I'm going to delete this and create a new one. So we're going to add to project, visual effects, post-process volume. Right now, it's not really affecting anything because it's in a zone, which is another cool thing. You can put it as a zone, unlike the filters that you've previously used that were just in the settings. And so the first thing you want to do is infinite extent, and that's going to apply to the whole world instead of this zone. There's also a priority factor, which if you have multiple post-processes at once, it will set the priority, so that's also pretty useful. Just to begin, we have a whole slew of settings like lens, bloom. Bloom, of course, is just like kind of a light quality. It just determines how light kind of blooms, I guess. It makes sense. It's self-explanatory. Of course, we have exposure, which is another lighting factor. You just enable whatever you want to change. If you want to have a low exposure, you can. Of course, there's always options for these. It gets really advanced, so sometimes you need to experiment on your own. Chromatic aberration, I believe. I can't really tell what that does. But chromatic, I think that usually means black and white if I'm not stupid. Camera, you can change the speed of the camera, aperture, all that stuff inside the post-process volume. So if you want a shutter speed to be low, you can change that. I can't currently change it for some reason. I think I need to have this attached to a camera. I think that's why it's not working. Local exposure, of course, is another exposure node. Lens flares, lens flares are due to light, so if I look at a light, there'll be a lens flare. So I can turn that off. I can change it if I don't want any lens flares. Image effects, we have vignette. And I don't think I currently have that applied right now because I'm not in-game as an actor. But I think when I'm in-game, it'll show the vignette. Next we have color grading, and you can add temperature to your maps. For example, if you want to heat things up or if you want to cool things down, you can easily do that. And you can also tint your temperature, any temperature. So like it could be, goes from red to green and everything in between. And of course you got blue, and you can combine these to create different kinds of colors. Kind of goes crazy at sometimes. And there's different settings, of course, color, temperature, whatever. Global, you can change your saturation, so if you want things to look really beautiful, you can affect the saturation. So of course you got all that good out for you. And this is where you can turn things black and white. So if you turn Y all the way up, it'll be super saturated. If you turn Y all the way down, it'll be not saturated, so it'll be black and white, which is really neat. I would definitely use that. This saturation looks really beautiful though. Like this would be so great for maps, or thumbnails even, Contrast, of course, is going to be how things are contrasted. High contrast, low contrast. Definitely do not do this. This would be painful to look at. But yeah, if you want even more vibrancy, that's another way to do it. Gamma, interesting. And it's just something weird. I don't understand what gamma does, other than what you see on the screen. But this kind of looks like something you would see in a Super Mario 64. Yeah. Miscellaneous, you got seeing color tint, which is another color tint. Ooh, look at that red. I think it actually affects certain colors, so turn up red. No, it's just a seeing tint, yeah. It's self-explanatory. Global illumination, of course you got lumen, and you can change the lumen amounts. I currently don't have lumen activated, so it's not going to affect anything. Rendering focus, or rendering features, rather. You have motion blur. Don't usually recommend using motion blur because people are really sensitive to that. But post-process materials is where you add your materials. For example, create an asset reference, and I'm going to add my CCTV filter. I created this filter using this tutorial. I'm going to link it down below, so go check him out and go support his channel. And I'm just going to disable this for now, just so that I don't have to look at this all the time. Film grain, I think it only works when you're in game, because it's not working right now, but film grain is basically just that grainy quality. It's a good thing to pair with the CCTV footage, but it's not going to show up in edit mode for some reason. That might be a bug in Uefn, but it works fine in Unreal Engine. So additional settings, of course you have priority, blend radius, blend weight. This is for blending between different post-process volumes. But if it's at 1, that means this is going to take priority. If it's at max priority, that means it will not blend with another post-process volume. But if there is another, then it will blend. If you set it to 5 and the other one's at around 5, it will blend pretty evenly. And you also have brush settings. So example, if you did not have infinite extent on, you can change the zone size with this in brush settings. And of course there's other options that every single thing has, like actor or position edge lot. So post-process volumes are a really unique feature, and I really recommend using them to boost the look of your maps. If you want to add more color, if you want to add a different kind of vibe, it's a great way to filter the look and really create something unique. So an additional note about post-process volumes is you can find some underneath Fortnite. Fortnite, if you search post-process, you'll find the ones that we have in-game. For example, film noir, horror movie, neon party, which of course is the outlines. In addition to oak, which is your kind of cel-shaded look, and of course sepia. So all of those are available, and now you can actually change them in game rather than using the settings to have it throughout. So the cool thing about editing these is one thing I found, which is going to be really useful, is if you create a cinematic sequence by going to devices, getting rid of that, place it down, and you go in, create your level sequence. I'm going to use this one because I was already using it. And I'm going to delete this because I was using this previously to test. I'm going to select my post-process volume, and I'm going to track it, actor signature post-process volume. And the cool thing you can track is actor hidden in game, and you can turn visibility off and on with keys, which is the coolest thing. And I think, if I'm not wrong, that you can actually maybe create a visibility gradient. For example, if I select this, maybe not, but yeah, you can't do that. But you can turn visibility off. So if you're going to, for example, switch the player to a CCTV camera, you can easily do that. Just let me show you how that looks. CCTV camera's on. Say you have that and you switch to a different cinematic sequence where it's off, it can turn off. And this way the post-process volume can be automatically off, but when it's in the cinematic sequence it can be on. And that's a great way of shifting between them. And that's one of the cool features of post-process volumes. If you found this tutorial helpful, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and maybe even a suggestion down in the comments. I hope you all have an amazing day, and good luck creating.